Decision Diaries with Lynn and Jamie.
Welcome to Decision Diaries. Today on Decision Diaries, I have my family here with me, and we are going to be talking about Christmas traditions, and some that needed to be over with and some that we needed to change as family dynamics started changing, and then some of our favorites and some of our least favorites. So let me just tell you that I miss my mom, and I know you miss your mom because they are what make Christmas. So to all the moms and daughters out there, I'm jelly. I don't have my mom for Christmas, and she gives me the best Christmas presents ever. So a lot of these traditions we're carrying on from our parents. And then as we became parents, we started creating some good and not so good Christmas traditions. So our kids are here to remind us of some of our epic fails and some of the ones that come out or stand out with them. So I've got Corey over here, my youngest, and then I've got Sean, Mr. Jiu-Jitsu over here. And then my husband's just going to randomly lean in. And there he is. All right. So I'm going to kick us off with some of the ones that I started that I question, why did I start that? And you guys see if you remember this one. So I came up with the idea that our children didn't seem to notice the difference between Christmas and the actual Christmas day. So on Christmas Eve, I would cut out with paper snowflakes, attach them to ribbon, and then tape them to the ceiling as almost like Santa Claus came in and it suddenly got wintry. But what's really funny is over the years, like if you were to touch our ceiling right now, it is still sticky, and I'm still finding little shreds of tape. Do you guys remember the snowflakes?
Yeah, I do. I remember jumping.
Did you actually appreciate the snowflakes? Because I don't know when I was like, there was one Christmas Eve that I was like, why am I cutting out these freaking snowflakes?
So what you're failing to mention is that this wasn't just a Christmas tradition. This was an Easter tradition. This is a Valentine's Day tradition. This is a St. Patrick's Day tradition, a birthday tradition. Our ceiling constantly had tape on it, and it's constantly covered in eggs, hearts, shamrock, snowflakes. I mean, the best part, Corey just said it, the best part about the snowflakes is us reaching up and smacking them.
Yeah. You guys would smack them in the morning. There'd be like snowflake paper everywhere. And then here's the other thing, like, why didn't I buy like pre-cut out snowflakes from like Michael's or something? But no, instead I would just sit there and cut these random size snowflakes all the time. And then it was funny because our ceiling after a while got like gooey, or some of the tape we bought was cheap tape.
We couldn't paint over it because there's so much tape up there. I had to sit for like a week to just peel off tape. It was ridiculous.
But then the other thing is that we started buying cheap tape, and in the middle of the night, your dad and I would be hearing the snowflakes falling from the ceiling as if there was like some creeper in our house. So yeah, I don't know when I stopped. Do you guys even remember when I stopped?
It was definitely like 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah, because I remember jumping up and just smacking them down like right after Christmas was over.
That's about right.
Yeah, I couldn't
you
tell
think
you.
So?
Maybe
okay.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay. So that was the one that I was like kind of glad that's over. Don't know why I did that to myself. Then, of course, there is the one that I'm sure people are suffering through to this very day and can't wait for Christmas to be over because it's the freaking elf.
Oh, the elf on the shelf?
The elf on the shelf was sort of brought down that, it was popular when you guys were young. Yeah. It was just coming out, and we were trying to keep you guys in line in any way we could. So it was a great idea, but the maintenance of it and then the epic proportions of creativity that come out of other people doing elf on the shelf and social media, we just couldn't compete. We dropped out. But your father is the one that kept it going.
I tried. It was tough.
Oh, I know. You kept putting in like the most random places.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like the ceiling vent one time?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was the ceiling fan. Yeah.
I put him, I want to say I hung him upside down from something one time. Yeah, there's a bunch of different places. I had fun with it for a while, for a good year and a half.
But we
would
would
you-
go to bed and we'd be like, oh, we haven't moved the elf. So when did you guys discover that the elf was really not watching you and it really didn't matter how you behaved?
I knew. Well, I was about at that age when you guys started that I was like already like looking for my Christmas presents before Christmas and stuff like that. I was kind of already at that age. And the Elf on the Shelf, man, I also knew it was you guys because it had a vendetta against me, especially around like the end of the quarter.
Oh, when
school and
grades
stuff
came
like
out?
that.
Yeah, the elf did not like
elf
you.
Was not a big fan.
I just remember you pointing it out to me, and I was like, "Huh,
Yeah.
neat," and I didn't think much of it.
Yeah, I don't think that it really kind of helped with y'all's behavior. It definitely didn't bring up your grades. Here's a one that came and descended from my mom. And when my mom passed away, I inherited this lovely guy, and I will be posting the video of him, the bathroom snowman.
Oh dear
Freaking hate
Lord.
that dude.
Oh my Lord.
Hate that dude.
So this
Nothing-
was in Muumu's house in the main bathroom at her house. Muumu being my mom. That's grandma's name for my mom. And tell everybody, what is the bathroom snowman?
Well, the bathroom snowman is this little like animatronic thing that has a camera in it that if anything passes near it, it starts playing like a predetermined message. But she doesn't turn it off. So when you go in the bathroom at like 2 a.m. after getting some snacks, it turns on.
Yeah, but everything that it says is bathroom related.
Oh, they're all potty jokes.
They're all potty jokes. Like, I got a present for you.
Yeah.
Like that. Or like, is something wrong? I forget what all it says. We'll be
Yeah.
posting a video of it, but it's harassment
goodness.
in the bathroom, and it's motion censored. There is no camera, and it's really kind of funny because my mom's Christmas was usually a fairly classy Christmas, although there's some epic fails of some of my mom's Christmas trees where she had like creepy Victorian China dolls on it that scared us all. But this snowman bathroom was completely out of character for her. I don't know why she went with it, but once she had it, and especially when the grandkids came around, she loved it. And I fought for that sucker and I got it. And so it is in our bathroom now. I saw you guys turned it off, but I'll be turning it back on for the next 24 hours.
I didn't turn it off. That was Corey.
I get home late sometimes, and it's like I hear that thing turn on.
Well, you
I'm
know,
going to go use the bathroom.
well, you know, it also motivates you to get out of the bathroom because your long showers are costing us money since you've come back from college. All right, we're still on bad ideas. And I'm going to say another bad idea that your father and I wouldn't even be married today if he had not made it through this test of my family's traditions. So once people are in their 20s or families are in their 20s and there is no children's mass that you need to go to, and you know everybody knows all the secrets of Christmas, you start to think about going to midnight mass because it is a pretty mass, and midnight mass is pretty. And my husband and I were dating, and he was invited to a midnight mass, which starts at 12. You get out around 1. And my mom and my dad would just be a bundle of energy, and we would be opening up presents till 4 a.m. And your father and I were dating, and he came to this midnight mass and he started to fall asleep, and I got very angry with him. I could not believe he's fallen asleep. My mom spent like $1,000 on him, and he's over there like,
I've never did midnight mass before. And who eats at 3 o'clock in the morning like a full Christmas dinner?
and we were drinking.
Oh, yeah, there was the drinking part. That was
and
fun.
we were drinking too. So we really haven't done midnight mass since. And then my mom changed that tradition. And then there was one time where you and I, in our 20s, my mom gave us a pass on going to church, and it was really weird. We were really kind of like lost. Like, what do we do when everyone else is at church? And my mom was like, well, just meet us for dinner. And we just felt this enormous amount of guilt. And we have not missed church for Christmas ever since, because in our 20s, we were like, well, what did we think we were going to do when all of the world was at church? Like, what were we thinking we were going to do? So there's a little lesson for you boys. Always go to church at Christmas. So midnight mass, snow globes, snow globe collection.
So many.
Too many snow globes. And at some point, yeah, a collection can get tacky. And then on top of that, the snow globes do not make it from the unpacking process to the packing process and the taking down of decorations. There's always casualties. So after a while, I said, to heck with the snow globes, and we only have a few remaining. They also, by the way, I just want to say, they also dry out. Like, who knew? Like, it starts evaporating, and then like the pieces start turning upside
I have a
down.
question, boys. How many have you guys broken?
I think the survivability ratio per year, like the average snow globe broken a year is 1.6. Over under 1.6.
And I'm not replacing them. Maybe when my snow globe collection gets to something that's
Yeah.
fairly reasonable or meaningful. And then of course you guys changed sports, so we had some snow globes with sports. I don't know if there's any jiu-jitsu snow globes out there. If there was one, I suppose I would buy it. Here's another one. You would come home from school, and then they would force another tradition on us. So you guys made at school. Do you remember this?
Ornaments.
No, not the ornaments, because we have those on the tree. What did you guys make at school?
Reindeer food.
Reindeer food. You
Oh,
look
yeah,
at my
I
cheat
did,
sheet.
I did.
Reindeer food. Reindeer food, which was oatmeal and glitter.
Yeah.
And we sprinkled it. And I can't even believe you guys kind of thought that that's what brought the reindeer. But then it would actually still be there for days later. And it's like, what
More
is
like months.
yeah, what's magical about the glitter
Yeah, it's
reindeer
like
food?
birds pecking at our
Yeah, I mean, it's
driveway.
like, I don't even know.
Oats.
Hopefully oatmeal didn't hurt any of the birds. Okay, so what other do you have any other bad tradition that you're like, Mom, please no. Mom, Dad, please no.
I don't really have any bad traditions.
And are you going to
yeah.
carry down to your children?
The bad ones?
Oh,
Are you going to do snowflakes on your ceiling?
I might do the first couple of years.
Okay.
I'm
All
getting a
right.
snowman. I'm gonna do that to somebody else.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so
We might
fun.
have we might have to buy one or make one.
No, the
'cause
snowman?
The bad snowman's pretty good.
Yeah.
That might be a little more raunchy though.
Yeah.
Having people over and then going to their bathroom for the first time during the holidays, and they hear that, and you just hear them yell or say something.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's
every time.
It's definitely a pro when my friends come over and hear it for the first time of the
I
year.
try to turn it on when your friends come over. Yeah. So you guys we'll put that in our will. I don't know who we're going to give it to. So, okay. So some bad traditions, but I'm going to talk about my mom again, because my mom had so many things, but I will tell you that it was awesome when, we were kind of down to one income, and she was my personal Santa Claus, if you will. And I loved it when she just handed you guys the Toys R Us catalog and gave you markers.
Yep.
God,
That was crazy.
God, that was nice.
Yeah.
Are
The
you guys gonna do that with your children?
it can afford it.
Grandma's gonna do it. Lynn's gonna
Yeah,
do it.
mom's
What?
gonna do it.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to win the
the-
lottery. I
It
don't
was
know.
the Lego catalog, and the
Oh,
rule
yeah.
the rule was one big set, then the rest is fair game. So Corey and I would plan out, and he's like, "Hey, I want this big one." I'm like, "You got it, buddy. I'll get this big one." And Legos were a lot cheaper at the time too,
Oh, it was so expensive.
compared to now.
I don't know. I think it's where your college fund went. My
No.
mom spent a lot of money on Legos.
It 100%, but they're a lot like fair in price, I'd say now. So we were balling out every year with like 8 or 9 sets. Now we probably get like 3 or 4, but back in the day, man, it was one big set and a
Bananas.
bunch of small ones.
Yeah, and what I liked is what she started to do, what the tradition started to be, was that, my mom understood that I wasn't buying a lot of things for myself once I became a mother. And so she took me out the day after Thanksgiving, again, with kind of a blank check. And we would just go through all these clothing stores, and her answer was just yes. So in the sort of tradition of my mom, I have now adopted your girlfriend, who you've been with for 5 years, and her and I go out, and I treat her like Pretty Woman. Although this year I didn't as much because I had already bought some things, but her and I go out for a whole day of shopping, and she picks out a lot of your presents. She picked out all your presents practically last year. She's
Yeah.
walking around like Pretty Woman with all of those bags. And so I missed that. Now my dad tried to compete with my mom when we were younger, and he would take my sister and I out. And my sister and I did what you guys did, is we would convince my dad that he was getting a bargain when we would take him into like designer shoe stores, and we'd be like, but Dad, normally these shoes are like $300, so $75, which was expensive at the time when my sister and I were younger. We're like, that's nothing. And then we would go to record stores. Yes, there were vinyl record stores, Peaches, Turtles, for some of the older people that were out there that remember those awesome record stores. And we'd walk out of there with like 10 albums. Sometimes my sister and I would like the same artist and we couldn't share. So my dad would buy us duplicate albums. Yeah, I know. He would not do that today. No, that's not something he would do today. Now, when you talk about your mom's traditions,
Sure.
because your mom, I don't think I ever saw the same Christmas tree twice, and I have been with your family for 27 years.
When they became empty nesters, she started changing the tree. I'd say about right when she became empty nesters when I went to college, and the tree changed every year. There was an apple tree, it was all red. There was an angel tree, all blue tree, and all white tree, all Santa Claus tree. Like every year, she had a different tree, and she would always go to the Christmas Made in the South and buy all these ornaments. I have no idea where any of these things are, and I don't think anybody in our house knows where she put them at. But every year it was a different tree. It was so cool.
So I love that your sister, who is taking care of your dad and lives there, is carrying on that tradition. So this year, I think it's a pink tree. Oh. It's a pink tree. I don't think I've seen the pink tree in a while. So we're going to see it this year. The other great tradition that both your parents did was the Christmas party that has escalated to epic proportions. And I feel like that's how we kind of reeled Freya into our family, was inviting her to the epic Layfield Christmas party.
The Layfield Christmas party is definitely a trip.
It's a great time. It's really funny.
It's the way, like the first Christmas party we did together, it was both my grandparents, and then it was like, I swear that was the one Christmas party everybody came back in town for. We actually knew where everyone in the family was.
Yeah, we had all the children, really grandchildren.
Everyone was there, and the best part, always the best part about me, like my favorite part about the Layfield Christmas party is the Christmas bags. You get like one present, everyone gets like one big present, then everyone gets bag full of similar stuff. You get t-shirts, you get puzzles. My favorite part is the moldy fruit at the bottom.
We're gonna do that this year. We're gonna remember put the moldy fruit at the bottom.
There was always moldy fruit,
or like some random nuts.
Yeah,
like random nuts. Like I think they just went and just like took a big bag and just started just sprinkling things.
It always added some personality to it. And I was like, this is the best. This is the best.
And then the first year that you were dating your girlfriend, when you guys were 15, and we brought her to the Christmas party, she got her own bag, and the bag was almost bigger than her.
Yeah.
It was so big. I mean, they're like potato sack.
Yeah,
bags.
They were huge.
Yeah.
They're still huge, and they've always been like that even since we were kids.
Yeah, well, and this year we're trying to make sure that the next generation appreciates it, and we're asking them to contribute to the bags because, hey, it's getting tight out here paying for college students. So this year is the first year that you guys are actually contributing items. So I might actually get surprised this year, which will really kind of be nice. And so with that, I took one of the traditions my mom started, and I started putting it in the holiday bags. And that is the crackers from England. And we went to London this year, so now we're all into it. And if you don't know what these crackers are, you've seen them in like World Market. They come with a little paper hat. They come with terrible jokes, and then they usually come with a toy. Now, I really do like that the crackers now on the back when you buy them tell you what the toys are, because I remember when I bought the whistles. And we had a particular annoying little child at our Christmas party who was not picking up that like the whistle had gone beyond being fun and was doing the whistle at all the wrong times. So no whistles and no choking hazards. I think I've gone with the crackers that have something that we can kind of do. And usually the toy is about 2 inches big. Sometimes there's nail clippers. I don't know what's going on with the England crackers, but they're becoming very practical, and they have nail clippers and tweezers in there. And I don't know what that says during the holidays when you put a paper hat on. Oh, and the best of all best, we haven't talked about, and this is sad because we can't do it this year because the restaurant has closed. But there is an Italian restaurant called Sorrento's in Jacksonville, Florida, about a couple blocks from our house. And we would go there every Christmas Eve. We knew all the waitresses. And it is a locally owned Italian restaurant. We tried to keep them open during 2020. We took as much takeout from them as possible. They ended up later selling the restaurant. So they are no longer open and we can't go there. But we started going there every Christmas Eve. And on one Christmas Eve, tying in the crackers, tell us, Sean, what happened with the crackers inside the restaurant?
So we kind of have to go into the anatomy of the crackers. They're a
Oh my
paper
goodness.
tube, and on each side of the paper tube, they're tied together, almost twisted. And inside, there's a little slip with gunpowder on it that makes this popping sound. And we'd pop the crackers. I had the hat on my head, and we're just hanging out. And I'm fidgeting as one
And looking
does,
at me.
looking at my little brother. And this is only about 3 years ago. And I slide the gunpowder piece out. I grab it in my hand and I pull it. And when I pull it, it explodes in my face. I get a dirty look from everybody in the restaurant, and everyone's just like, Sean.
It was
Not
so.
the
It was a gun.
place.
It was a
It sounded
gunshot.
like a gun.
It sounded like a
gunpowder,
gun.
yeah.
And I thought all these people, and this restaurant really did kind of cater to older locals. So you saw grandparents bringing their grandchildren there, and then all of a sudden he lets off a gunshot. So I was amazed. I was amazed. And I was amazed. Nobody had a heart attack, and nobody ended up like flipping over tables to get out of there. But that was our famous cracker Sorrento. And so now this year we are doing not a Christmas Eve dinner. Well, actually, we're going to a new Christmas Eve dinner. I'm very excited about that. But we're doing a Christmas Day Italian lunch at a new restaurant. And we're really hoping it's good because that is going to be the new tradition with my side of the family, my dad and his girlfriend. And we'll be going there for that and then going to his house for desserts, which opened up our evening to finally join what we call the 210 group's famous 7 fishes.
I'm so looking forward to this. It's like an old Italian tradition, and it's just going to be so much fun. They serve food from like 5 to, I want to say midnight, and everybody just has a good time and relaxes. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun night.
I just hope.
And lots of alcohol.
And yeah, and we have a
driving?
designated driver. I think you're going to be the designated driver, and
Well,
I'm wrapping everything because I think the next day I'm probably going to be hungover from the 7 fishes. So another thing that happened is that as the boys get older, they kind of know what they're getting because we're starting to get practical. I mean, we give them a few surprises, but it's usually things they need in their life, like clothes, or they need some computer for school. And I mean, it just becomes super boring. So about, 4 or 5 years ago, I came up with a Christmas family experience surprise. And it was something that even I kept a secret from my husband, and he wouldn't know what it was. But the rule of the Christmas family experience was you could not say no. Whatever I did, whatever I said, if I said that we were going to go ice skating and you don't ice skate, too bad, so sad, you cannot say no. So I usually put like goofy riddles to try to give them an idea of what the Christmas experience is. So the first one I started with was going to, I think, a Broadway, the Monty Python Holy Grail. I bought Broadway tickets. And I mean, I don't think anybody
That
was
was a good time.
yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
that was
anybody
top tier.
was thinking,
hilarious.
okay, well, this is a good concept. We're going with this concept. And then each year I have to keep being creative. And my husband and I on our anniversary got really drunk at a Margaritaville.
We sure did.
And we ended up meeting a captain of a boat and buying from him, boat unseen, deep sea fishing for our family experience. So your dad was in on that one. But then last year, I took it to a whole new level which is why this year I think it's a little lame, but that's fine. Last year I took it to a whole new level where I rented a chicken limo. Now, if nobody knows who these chicken limos are, I will post pictures of the chicken limo, but the chicken limo looks like a chicken with a limo, and a limo with a tail
like a chicken.
clucks like a chicken, and the horn clucks like a chicken. But what I did was we did a scavenger hunt with a chicken theme, and we were in the chicken limo, and then we ate chicken in the limo.
Yep.
I had a rubber chicken with me, and we had a Instagram competition with 2 teams, and I gave you guys clues, and we went all around the city. I was driving the limo driver crazy because, we had to get all the timing right, because at the very end of the night, we ended up at Tiki Tommy's Tiki Bar, which you need a secret code to get into. It's fabulous in Jacksonville. It's called Tiki Tommy's. You wear a Hawaiian shirt. We were all wearing Hawaiian shirts, and you get some great drinks there. And so that was last year. And
Yep.
I don't think I am going to be able to compete with last year. I forgot. I think there was another one in there, but totally forgot that. So talking about this year, something that I bought that I had to have in Home Depot. Your dad and I were talking about how we were going to watch our spending this Christmas. And then we come across an animatronic Christmas Yoda. His eyes move, his face moves, and he's just the right height to be in my convertible. So I got a converter so that I could put Yoda in my convertible with my top down and drive him like I'm a single person parade. And I did that the other day as I was getting gas. I put the top down. I drove a little bit. I drove with your girlfriend. She was great.
Yep.
We drove through the town center with the top down, and they did not have a sense of humor. But then we went through Riverside, and we were getting some responses. I love my Yoda. And what's best about Yoda is what he says. He actually speaks. And what he says is fairly generic. So he comes with a witch's hat. And then someone else gave me the idea to put bunny ears on him. And then a Valentine's Day. I mean, I just kind of feel like this is going to be the gift that keeps giving. Right now, Yoda is in my convertible, sitting in my backseat, strapped with a seatbelt, ready to go, because we are going to a new tradition today that just started last year, friends of ours. So a little shout out to Guy and Helena, who started. And, it's particularly important this year since we lost our favorite Jimmy Buffett. But last year was the first year that he started Jimmy Buffett Christmas. And we get more use out of our Hawaiian shirts we wore for the chicken limo because we're going to that party. And this is the second year, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Second year. He's got the huge, all the Margaritaville. We all wear the leis, and we go through the inappropriateness of the leis, which, Corey's been having a good time at college. That's all I'm saying. He doesn't need any of those.
We're going through, and there's a couple traditions I think you left off on.
Okay, go on.
So Christmas Eve, the books we always read.
Oh my God.
One you forgot.
One of the most important one at all. Corey, go ahead. Tell
I
us.
was waiting for you to cover that. But it is every year, no matter the age. It is fantastic. She reads the Cajun Night Before Christmas, and she does the best Cajun accent you can do. And every year, the pronunciation's a little off, so it's just funnier. It gets better every time.
Gaston.
You mean you're forgetting the
Grinch? Can't forget the Grinch either. Dad doing the Grinch is just
I go through the Grinch and I butcher it all the way through.
Butcher it.
He does not know how to read a Dr. Seuss book. And actually, we need to record it because
no, we don't.
No, you need to listen to your Dr. Seuss reading. I do not know why you don't tend to get the rhymes in the right part of the sentence. But every year I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the longest Grinch book that you emphasize on all the wrong parts. Now, we used to do, at one point, we used to do the matching pajamas. We sort of, we weren't quite the Holderness family. I know, they do great Christmas things, but we did the matching pajamas for a little while. And then one year, I think I really messed up and I did not get y'all's sizes whatsoever. And then after that, it was kind of like.
It kind of was like a tight pajama party.
It wasn't really, I don't know. I messed up everybody's sizes, and then we were like, some of the pajamas weren't as cute as before. But the books we still read, which is going to be interesting this year because I think we may need to put the books in the car as we return from Seven Fishes. And I tried to read The Cajun Night Before Christmas while being highly intoxicated. So I think I don't know. I mean, I think somebody may need to record that. I think we might have to post that later. And speaking of reading books, we have not talked about Mrs. Layfield reading of The Night Before Christmas with her own personal take on takeaways. So my mother-in-law was a member of the Moose Lodge, and every year at the Moose Lodge would have this party where she was Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus would come, and everybody would kind of buy a gift for their own children and then put it in a gift bag, and then they would hand you back kind of the gift you bought. But you waited. The highlight was not Santa Claus, and the highlight was not the gift you got, because you definitely knew that, you were going to get something that you liked, like Legos and stuff like that. The highlight was my mother-in-law as Mrs. Claus. So as she sat down and children gathered round, she would read The Night Before Christmas, but as she read it, she would talk about all the dangers of everything that happens in the night before Christmas. And you don't really think about it, but when you do think about it, okay, so Santa Claus lands on the roof with a clatter, and she would add, don't be scared, children. He wasn't a burglar, but if you do hear somebody on your roof, go get your parents, because there might be a burglar, and you might want to wake your parents up and tell them about it. And then she would continue on with the story. So then she'd get to the next one. Sugar plums and sugar above their head. Okay, let's not all eat a bunch of sugar. That's really bad for your teeth. And then you can also, you don't want to eat sugar before you get to bed because you won't be able to get to sleep. And then and just one lecture after another.
It was becoming a nightmare before Christmas.
Yeah, it was the longest night before Christmas that you ever heard. And the kids would just sit there as she would just go off of the book and add her own personal, I have learned this in my life. Let me tell these little children and lecture them. And then I forgot you guys already had the toys in your hands. And then off we would go. And, the Moose Lodge, which at one point very much had full on indoor smoking.
Yeah.
Then after you left, not only did you leave with knowledge that you didn't have before from the night before Christmas advice you got, but you also left like you smoked 12 a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Some Reds, man.
Some Marlboro Reds.
Yeah.
So if any of us ever get cancer, that was from our
From
annual
the Moose Lodge.
Moose Lodge.
Secondhand from Moose Lodge.
Yeah, from the Moose Lodge. Now the other thing my grandparents did and took you guys to, and we did all the time, was the Snoopy lights.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
The Snoopy lights when you guys were younger. And we went to a particular neighborhood, and this guy was just super into Snoopy. I saw one today that we looked at online on Instagram, where a whole neighborhood, whoever you are out there, the neighborhood that did the Minions, that was fabulous. So now that my sister-in-law has purchased the house right next to us, I think we could come up with a theme. She did get the same Christmas tree as ours, but hers is newer and actually has a star, honey. Our decoration.
Ours has a beagle on top. That's a tradition.
No, our outdoor
Great
decoration is supposed to have a star, and somewhere you lost it. And so she's got the same one, but hers has a star on it. And our outdoor decorations this year look like shite. They look like shite.
Don't have tree envy, Lynn.
It's okay. Next year.
Yeah, no, we're bringing it. We're bringing it next year. And we have not done so you went to visit your brother in Austin.
I did.
And which may or may not be a tradition.
I'm cool with that. I like that.
The
It was
drive
fun.
back tradition.
Oh,
the drive back,
16 hours straight. Fantastic.
That
Switching
was
off
not
drivers was really fun because Sean would be driving for a long period of time, and eventually he'd start playing a podcast, and then I'd take back over, and he'd just sit there put earbuds in, crumple in the corner, and I was just like, all right, cool.
And how many times did the girlfriend call during
None.
the trip?
None.
They were
But
texting.
he was texting her the whole time. But I mean, I get it.
That was supposed to be brother time.
We were hanging out.
We were
I know,
hanging
yeah.
out.
It was a good drive.
I gave you a credit card and told you guys to get a hotel room in Baton Rouge.
No, we used it on food. It was worth
Yeah, it was worth it. Listen, my thought process was if we just stopped driving at Baton Rouge, we're done driving at 3. We've been driving since 9. You know what I mean? So why not just run up the
Or
entire
you could have
day?
gone to New Orleans. Why didn't you guys think
I
about
didn't.
going to New Orleans?
Because
You
he's
had my
not
credit card.
21. He doesn't have a fake ID.
You don't have to
he
be
does-
21 for beignets.
That's true. That's very true.
You guys really missed an opportunity.
I guess.
Well, on the way back,
yeah.
I do not want you driving the whole way. And I'm glad that this is on record because if you die and you don't follow my advice, I told them, people.
On
I
you
told
now,
them.
kid.
I told him.
Wait,
I'm
hold on,
kind
hold
of
on.
I'm
We're-
kind of
I-
attached to him.
I feel like we're also missing some traditions. That I'd
Okay,
like to go over.
go. Yeah.
I don't know if this is tradition because it's fairly basic and every Christmas celebrating family does this, but opening presents in the morning. You know,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I have a lot of good memories about this because I was always the kid that was like ready to. He's a heavy sleeper. I was always the kid that was ready to go. So I remember one morning I wake up and I look and there's like this giant plastic aircraft carrier. You guys remember this one?
Yes.
And I wake up and I'm like, Dad came, dude. We gotta get to these presents, man. And he's like, no, you gotta wait 15 minutes. And I'm like, 15 minutes?
And you're ADD.
Yeah,
Oh,
and he actually slept in my room with me and was sitting next to me. And every 5 minutes, I'm like, Dad, 15 minutes, definitely up. Let's go, man. And he's like, no, your brother's not up yet. He just keeps changing the criteria of like the time to open presents. Eventually, I fall asleep, and about an hour and a half later, I get woken up. But man, there's a lot of standout present opening moments. Obviously, the one that comes to mind first was the Nintendo DS.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
that's
hilarious.
I got up at 5 a.m. to get that Nintendo DS on special. And then when I was standing in the line, I was working in financial aid technology at the time. And at 5 a.m, somebody was standing in line talking about scholarships. And I started telling them how to get scholarships and educating them on the FAFSA. And I think Peggy was with me. I think it was Peggy that was with me. And she was like, seriously, you're like working, like you're telling people these things
Well,
for this DS. Yeah.
the best part about this DS thing is
Fantastic.
how you guys wrapped it. So it wasn't in a DS box.
Oh, no.
It was under a sweater. And I was like, when you're like 6, you open up a box of sweater, you're like, oh, sweater, great. You look in and you're like, oh, this is a Nintendo DS, and we were at Catholic school and we take these field trips. Everybody had a DS to play Mario Kart. So that was the year we were like, we're in,
Oh, yeah.
So
another
fun.
good one was when we got an I know these are all video game related, but the
Yeah.
Xbox 360, he wanted Skylanders, but we only had a Wii. And you guys got the Xbox 360 version of the game, and he opened it up first. And I'm like, well, I guess we can go play this at our friend's house. And then Corey was like upset. And then the next thing, obviously, he opened was the Xbox.
Oh, they-
And
they-
Oh,
They
yeah.
switched
Because you
it
opened up the
hard.
console first, but you didn't have
we
the,
opened up
You
the
opened
game
games
first. And then
Yeah, you opened up the
console.
games
What is
first.
going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah,
Fantastic.
You guys don't remember the Jeep.
I remember the Jeep.
I remember
the
riding
fire
around
truck.
in it.
The
Yeah,
fire truck,
fire
the
truck.
fire truck.
That's a
Jeep.
great tradition.
Yes.
Mr. Layfield, well, Grandpa Layfield, Dad's dad. I guess we just refer to him here as Mr. Layfield or Dad or Grandpa.
Grandpa
Layfield,
Layfield, Pop,
Layfield,
Grandpa-
Pop,
yeah,
whatever. I call him Pop, but he gets. Is it the guys or is it just the youngest person in the family?
For what?
He gets them a Jeep not every Christmas, but
No,
like
Tonka truck.
It's the Tonka
It's the
truck.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
everybody
Tonka
gets
truck.
the drivable truck.
No, everybody got a Tonka truck.
A
Like
Tonka
big
truck.
Tonka truck.
Like
Oh
the,
yeah.
the wrought iron, you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
like
Every boy
cut
got a
your
big-
lip on
yeah.
a Tonka truck.
Yeah.
Like you push it with your hands and you roll it down the hill.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys all got one of those big yellow with sharp edges Tonka truck that you went down the
And
hill.
that wasn't Grandpa. That was Dad. That was me.
Oh, that was it.
Oh, wait, oh, hey,
Oh,
sometimes
man.
I
I
take
know.
credit for that.
I know we need to
Really?
get some of the credit for like all the years, but the Jeep, what I loved about the Jeep is that both of you guys fit in the Jeep and we got your little fireman hats and you were the worst driver, you would just stop, and then Corey's head would just go bam at the dashboard.
That
Bam.
explains
And
a
then we
lot.
had our neighbors around the corner that her kids were fearless. And we took the Jeep to the cul-de-sac. And it's so funny because I think the Jeep, might have done 1 mile per hour, maybe.
Maybe 1.5.
But to me, seeing my 2 kids in it, that I think you guys were like 5 and 2, I felt like it was going 50 miles per hour. Like I was like, oh God. So then you guys were in the cul-de-sac and you get Taylor in the Jeep and she puts the foot to the metal. She puts the foot
Plastic.
down,
The
foot to the
plastic to
plastic,
plastic.
plastic to plastic on the gas. And then you guys come out of the cul-de-sac, like into traffic. And I was like, oh my God, she is just so reckless. So reckless. Like, how am I going to keep up with this Jeep? And I was really worried about the Jeep. So I always made you guys take it down to the cul-de-sac and just like stay in there away from traffic because it's low enough, like cars can come by and hit you. But so adorable. I have that picture of both you guys in your Santa hats.
I cannot
your
believe
fire
you
hats.
don't remember the Robo-Raptor.
Oh!
That was nice.
So let me tell you about the Robo-Raptor because this was my mom's passive aggressive, super guilty, super guilty. So this one over here, Sean, super into dinosaurs, and the Robo-Raptor comes out, which is the most, animatronic. You could pet the dinosaur and it would like kind of shake like a dog. It had dog-like behaviors, but it was a Robo-Raptor, and different things you did to it would have it behave certain ways. But it's very sophisticated.
Let's be honest, it really didn't do anything.
But
It did
it
not
was
do anything.
it was super sophisticated because it had remote control and then it had sensors. But you saw a commercial, you wanted this Robo-Raptor, and it was like $200. And your dad and I did not have a lot of money. And I said to my mom, I kind of was hinting. She didn't pick up on the fact. Like, if you're going to let my kids pick something out of a catalog, you help me out with the Robo-Raptor. But that was not my mom's point. My mom said, do you remember your blue bicycle? Like I had to have this blue 10-speed that maybe my parents weren't doing so well financially, but kids don't know. And I had to have this blue 10-speed. And I talked about this thing all the time. She said, what if the Robo-Raptor is your son's blue 10-speed? How upset will he be if you don't get it? And I was like, oh, fine. And so we buy it. And I still don't think we've officially thrown it out. I think
It's in my room.
It's in your room
It's
up on your
creepy.
shelf because I need to get that $200 worth of that Robo-Raptor. And I can't wait till you have kids because I'm going to whisper something really expensive in their ear. And
Oh my
you and
God.
Freya are going to have to buy it because payback this is a tradition of the parents, the grandparents guilting you in to buying something for your children that you clearly can't afford. And we all know they're going to use for about 5 seconds. So
Yeah.
you didn't really do anything with the Robo-Raptor. And my mom was like, oh, you're an awesome parent for buying the Robo-Raptor. And it's like, okay, I won't be able to afford college for him, but whatever. And then you were into the dinosaurs so much. My mom bought you everything dinosaurs. And what she failed to realize is that you were into reading about dinosaurs, but you were not into being a dinosaur because she bought you claws and feet that made stomping sounds. And the one Christmas that she went over the top with the dinosaurs was when you decided you no longer liked dinosaurs anymore.
Yeah. That sounds like something I do.
And my mom was like, put on the feet. And you were like, no, not put on the feet.
Yeah. What other? Do we have any other traditions that?
Mom and I have a great tradition.
Oh,
Spending way too much freaking money.
I thought you were going to talk about the present war between you two of who can.
Oh,
that
oh.
one's always
This always
so-
makes me happy.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
we look forward to this.
I
one,
think
yeah.
I think I lost this year. And then I will say
You crushed
that
it.
we tried a really bad tradition about 2 years ago.
Oh God,
And this
I
was,
remember
this was a really stupid tradition, and I will post this picture because it's almost embarrassing how stupid this was. This was a dumb idea. We decided, I don't know what we were buying. We were buying something for the house or something like that. So, definitely all the money was gone, and neither one of us were really feeling this wanting need for anything. So we decided we were going to surprise each other with a dress up outfit. And the dress up outfit could have been like a beautiful outfit from Neiman Marcus or a prom dress or a tuxedo or something like that. But what we ended up with was I bought him a Ted Lasso costume, and he bought me a Carol Baskin stuff. and here we are on Christmas Day posting what we bought for each other on Christmas Day, and people were like, "What? It's not Halloween, and why are you guys buying Halloween costumes for each other?" And it's like, because we couldn't think of anything we wanted, and they're 90%. Yeah, and he's a soccer coach, so I thought the Ted Lasso thing was awesome. Love the Ted Lasso stuff. Oh yeah, and we haven't even talked about The Sound of Music. Right? And Ted Lasso killed us with their final season with The Sound of Music, because we were all crying because, we have recently lost my mother-in-law. And so, it brings us back to my mother-in-law, which, by the way, I went to my first Christmas party as dating you. And as I walked into the Layfield Christmas party, you said, our family has this thing about The Sound of Music. My mom loves The Sound of Music. And I was like, well, how does Sound of Music tie to y'all's family? But I think your mom was a singer.
Yep.
And then you guys had so many children in the family that she felt like you guys could have been the Von Trapps. And I was shocked going to your house as a 25-year-old, 24-year-old or whatever,
27.
that I was, all of a sudden we're in there and she puts on Do Re Mi, and you start singing, and everybody,
all the kids
start
singing. Sitting around the table just singing it, not really paying attention, talking and just singing it and just. And
I've never been part of a sing along with like 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds.
If there was a soundtrack to our family, that would probably be it.
Yeah. And so that was it. That was a great tradition. And I have wanted this year for us to take our inflatable 2020 movie screen and play a Christmas movie on the lawn. But I'm scared that everybody's going to end up crying, like we're starting to cry now every time the Sound of Music comes on, because we miss her so much. So at the very end of Ted Lasso with the goodbye scene, I loved it. But at the same point, we were crying because it was the end of Ted Lasso. We're crying because we've lost a great woman, my mother-in-law, your mom, y'all's grandmother. And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, they screwed us.
No.
Well, if we're talking about movies, one of the Christmas traditions that I always looked forward to as a kid was Christmas Story. The movie Christmas Story. Dad has this thing, and keep in mind, he is Ralphie from A Christmas Story.
All day long.
100%. We're not allowed to watch Christmas Story until Christmas Day, and on Christmas Day, that's the only thing playing.
Yeah, well, I love that channel. Football. What channel is it? They play it all day long.
TBS. They play it
on
24 hours, and that's what we're watching that day. No other movie, no football, no nothing. Christmas Story, 100%, and we're not allowed to watch it before Christmas.
Yeah,
before Christmas Day. It's sacrilege.
Now, I do like my Christmas Vacation. I do feel like we're very much a Chevy Chase family. I feel like my dad is kind of Chevy Chase. So yeah. So okay. So we are going to wrap it up with one last tradition. And I have been posting these. Oh no, they're not that one yet. I have been posting these on my Instagram. People have seen these on my Instagram, and I'm really shocked that the goat did not get as much. Oh, look, that's the one the dog took out in the yard. Our dog has attacked these things, but I am shocked and disappointed that the goat did not get a bigger following than Gangnam Style. But the goat is a classic. And this was the first, I went from snow globes to, this was in the store. My coworker had just said that she had picked up goat yoga. So this was very in vogue back when I bought this. And I'm just gonna play a little bit. Whoop. I love it. every single time. But the number one that got the most reply from everybody, and maybe I don't know, I don't know who's on my Instagram anymore, and I don't know who's all listening to the podcast, but this one apparently is the one. And if you guys remember some of the words, can you even say any of the words?
I don't speak Korean.
I don't
You
speak
guys
Korean.
learned the Korean words
Nope.
this summer. Yeah, this one.
Let him dance, man. Let the guy dance.
Oh, okay. Well, we will wrap it up with this. Or are you going to wrap it up with the?
No.
Ah,
Hell.
God.
Decision Diaries Holiday 2023.
thank you for tuning in.